welcome back. I hope that this is beginning to just start to make some sense here. Okay, this is going to be a little further of a visual representation of how this works. Now, I know a lot of you already know about geometry, but what I'm talking about is this part of geometry, the occultic symbolic form, all right, this 2D picture that so many people just equate to as a symbol, and then forget the fact that it is geometry, and this geometry can be equated into the 3D, and then that 3D is suspended in time-space. Okay, so what we're dealing with is a time-space repercussion of hidden energy. Now, in this case, this unseen or hidden energy is spiritual energy. It's consciousness. All right, and that is the reason for the containment here on this planet. If it wasn't for that reason, none of us would survive knowing the fact of Christ's existence. This consciousness in question would have, now meaning the fallen ones, this consciousness in question would have blotted it out, but they have been bound, as it states, for 70 generations. And when we're talking 70 generations, we're talking about 5,000 years. Now, how do I equate that? Well, 70 generations is times 72. 72 is the average lifespan of man. Okay? So when we go 70 times 72, we see that we end up with it about 5,040, I think. So that 5,040 equates into years. 70 times 72 years equates into 5,040 years, and that 5,040 years just so happens to be the term for world age. All right, and that's when we're talking about a precessional cycle, which would be roughly a 26,000 year period that has 12 separate equally, or 12 separate individual zodiacal signs. Now, they're not equal, but there are 12 groups that make up about a 26,000 year cycle, and then those are further divided into 5 groups of 5 separate world ages of at about 5,126 years apiece, which come up to about 26,000 years roughly. So unbelievably, what we see about this seal and this binding is that it equates to a world age, and we know at the end of a world age that in most mythological senses that world ages are signified by destruction. Like the Hindus believe in Sesha, which would be the serpent destroyer, which destroys with a venomous fire one world age to the next. Now, we're about to switch between a world age right now, which would be between Pisces and Aquarius. Now, that would be signified by destruction by all world mythology, but there is mathematical implications, there is spiritual implications, and there are physical implications layered over each other. No, each one is true. They are all just a symbolic reference of the greater total whole of truth that has been so well hidden from you all. So now we see that this 5,000 year binding is beginning to be released. As I've stated, that these beings are being released. So what I'd like to do is give you a further explanation here of what this geometry is doing being played out in physical form. Now, like I said, I know a lot of you already understand geometry, but as far as these 2D occultic symbols of geometry are concerned, most people forget they have 3D ramifications in space-time, that they have an actual presence in space-time. This is the Earth. This is a 3D dimensional form. We can recognize it. It's solid. Its magnetic field is unseen. But using geometry, we can equate or quantify its existence, thereby giving it form, visual form. So geometry allows us to see the unseen or hidden energy.